Welcome. So it's Yom Kippur, and a rabbi is giving a sermon. In the middle of his sermon, he's waxing rather eloquent and raising his voice to a high pitch. When he reaches a crescendo and shouts, everyone in this congregation is going to die. At this, one member of the community begins to laugh. Rabbi addresses this individual and says, "Why are you laughing?" He says, "Because I'm not from this congregation." The word for this is schadenfreude, that we take glee at other people's failure. And Shlomo HaMelech, Solomon, the great and wise king, warned us in the book of Biselleh, the book of Proverbs, against this human tendency. He says, "Min pol oivecha al tismach." When your enemies falter, when they fall, do not rejoice. Now, this is making several points that I want to address with you. One of them is that we shouldn't take joy at other people's failures. But even beyond that, even when our harshest critics, our worst enemies, people who have even committed atrocities die or have failed at their task, we don't have parades. We don't rejoice at the fact that they've fallen. We're better than that. This is not what we should do as human beings. We celebrate victories, we celebrate successes, we celebrate people who have done well, but we don't define ourselves by other people's failures. In this context, too, I want to remind you of all of the haftarot, that is to say, the prophetic portions that we read during the course of the year on Saturday mornings and on holidays. The prophetic portion, the haftarah, is appended to our Torah reading. And in each one of these prophetic pronunciations, a prophet stands up in front of the people and warns them about all of the bad things that are to befall them if they don't mend their ways. Each prophet, in a sense, is a prophet of doom. They're telling the people that they need to turn back, that they need to do teshuvah, they need to repent. I'm sure each prophet would rather stand in front of the people and say, "You're all fine people, you're all good, you pay your taxes, you do your dues, you help your neighbor, the rest." But this is not their responsibility, because people don't need to be told that they're doing well. They need to be told when they're doing wrong. And the prophets are reluctant. They are messengers of God that do not wish to do the task that God has sent them to do. Because to tell people that they're going wrong is not something that they took joy in. And I think this is the key issue. That sometimes we need to confront people with what they're doing wrong, but we should never take joy in that process. There's a story about an analyst that was telling the story of two individuals talking to another about a third party's marital problems. And while they're talking very sympathetically about the other individual that's not in the room, they're taking vicarious joy of the fact that he's suffering and they're fine. We do this, perhaps even unconsciously, because we want to say that we're okay, especially when others are not. This is a vital point. And this was demonstrated in the press this past week when we, the community of the world, are watching the soccer finals, the FIFA, and one player on the American team was given a red flag and thrown off the team, or at least thrown off of the next game, and then he was reinstated. When the United States team played against the Belgians, the world was cheering all for the Belgians. People may have wanted the Americans to win, but it didn't matter, because this whole idea of wanting what they perceived as a wrong to be corrected by the team that would ultimately beat them. And I also have a broken heart over the individual who did not ask for the red flag to be removed, but he has become, in a sense, the whipping boy for the rest of the world, because everybody wanted him to fail as a result of him being pulled out of his difficulty that he had with the earlier game. I think the whole point of this is ultimately for us to consider ourselves against people who have succeeded, that we should measure ourselves against success, not against failures. We should always strive to be better, become better, to look at people who have enjoyed success and take pride in their success, take joy from their success, to be full of rapture at the fact that they've succeeded, and maybe even in this whole process of celebrating their rising above instead of falling down, will not only ennoble our own character, but will also create the opportunity for us as individuals and as a community and as a world body to want and be better as well.